Welcome to Kiffin's Keep, an intellectual resource for the pillar and buttress of the truth, which is the church. This is a project of the London Lyceum, which is all about serious thinking for a serious church. I am Jordan Stefaniak, president of the London Lyceum and host of Kiffin's Keep, and as always, I'm excited to be here with you all today. As a reminder, before we start the video, go ahead and like the video if you enjoyed it in any shape, way, or form. And go ahead and subscribe to the channel and so you don't miss anything, because we produce a lot of stuff, not just Kiffin's Keep stuff. So if you're watching this, you like it, but you want to keep up with the other content as well. So make sure to subscribe and then go ahead and comment with your thoughts, ideas, or questions. Tell me if you agree or disagree, or if you have other thoughts. Love to hear from you. Topic for today's episode is the Doctor of Ministry degree, or as David Wells described it, the demonization of ministry. So recently there was a tweet that I saw that was shared with me about the funny exchange between, I don't know what it is. It's a TV show or something, I think, Andy Samberg and somebody else, where they're like this sort of interrogation between a medical doctor, or not a medical, interrogation between somebody who has a dental doctorate and somebody else. I don't know if he had a doctorate or whatever, but they went back and forth about what is a real PhD, who's a real doctor, etc. I think Jared Wilson tweeted something about how we need to have this discussion about the PhD and DMin. I think that's what he said. It's interesting that we need to have that discussion, because I'm very passionate about it, and I think most people who have PhDs or who are close to having PhDs are very strongly opinionated on this, that a DMin is not a doctorate degree. That may sound harsh, that may sound mean, but here at Kiffin's Keep, we like to play it honest and transparent and speak forthrightly, but speak in a way that is seasoned with grace and charity. And so when I say that a DMin is not a doctorate, I don't mean to denigrate those who have done DMins. I don't mean to suggest that you can't learn things from DMins. I don't mean to suggest they can't be useful tools for your ministry or whatever. It's just, it's not a doctorate degree. So let's talk a little bit about that, huh? And yes, I might be cheeky here. I don't know if you guys if you follow along and watch all these episodes, I totally botched it the other night when I recorded several of these. I blocked out all this time and work to think I'm going to record a bunch, and then of course I don't record the video like an idiot. So here I am re-recording them, and I'm salty about it. So that might make these for more entertaining value, and maybe that's a good thing, and maybe it's a bad thing because I'll say dumb things. We'll see. So this quote I wanted to read to you all from David Wells. He's got a bunch of stuff on this. There's a chapter, I think, in a book on this. He says this about the Doctor of Ministry degree. He says, the Doctor of Ministry degree is, in fact, not much of a doctorate. The standards one must meet to receive this degree are frequently below those required of candidates for the Master of Divinity, a degree that not too long ago was called the Bachelor of Divinity. It is a case of professional elevation, not by accomplishment, but by linguistic inflation. What used to be the minimum level of knowledge for entry into Christian ministry, gauged by a bachelor's degree, has, out of professional necessity and a wave of the magician's wand, now become a doctorate by the addition of what may amount to little more than refresher courses. End quote. There's not really much more that I can say that David hasn't said here in this quote. I think the DMin is a sham of a degree for the most part. That sounds strong. It is strong. I don't, like I said, I've already given you a disclaimer, so I'm just going to speak forthrightly. This degree, go to any seminary's website, and it's going to be about 30 hours. And almost all of them are going to require about 4 actual seminars, and the rest of the coursework is professional development. And you are going to write a project or create a project for your church about some sort of topic. Maybe it's hermeneutics, and you're going to create 10 lessons teaching your church how to do hermeneutics. Whatever it is. That's not a doctorate degree. So let's not fool ourselves. There's no question about that, like David said, that's the wave of the magician's wand. That is nothing else. There is in no sense is this a doctorate degree. Can it be useful? Sure. But I know other degrees that are more useful. The THM, about the same amount of coursework, write a thesis, learn things, be much more challenged and engaged in that. The amount of people that I know that work on the DMin programs that have graded stuff and told me that the quality of the education and the quality of the writing and the quality of the experience is very low is innumerable. do not do a DMin. That is my advice for you. I dance around this sometimes because I have friends who are currently doing DMins, or friends who've done DMins, and I don't want to make them feel bad. And I don't want to do that. I still don't. But I want to be honest with you that you should not go and get a DMin unless that's for a very specific purpose and a very specific reason. The DMin can be useful depending on your context. It is not a doctorate degree. Do not go get a DMin just because you want to be called doctor. And this is the telltale sign, if this is the case, is to go to a church's website and to look. And if it says that he has a doctorate degree and doesn't give you any clarity on that, he has a DMin. And the reason I say that is because if he had a PhD, he would just put PhD there. It's people who want to be called doctor who make sure to never tell you they got a DMin. They tell you they got a doctorate. And that's just a silly way of saying that they like to have large urination contests, telling people that they are smart and wise and powerful and whatever else they need to say to get themselves to have a bigger chest. That's not the case for everybody who does a DMin. There's a lot of people who do DMins. They want further education. They feel like, what's next after I have an MDiv? They don't feel qualified or equipped or prepared to do something like a PhD. And so they think, well, the DMin is the appropriate step for me. And those people I don't fault at all. You can learn things for the DMin. Just don't call yourself doctor, because it's not a doctorate degree. It's not. It is a degree that can be useful, just like the MDiv is a degree that can be useful. The MDiv is a useful degree. It helps people. The DMin can be a useful degree. It helps people. But it's not a doctorate degree. So don't go around waving your wand saying, I'm a doctor. You're not. It's important to be honest about these things and to not incorrectly or inflate one's ego or one's abilities beyond what they actually are. And that's what I think a DMin typically does, is it inflates one's self-importance and gives them sort of a sense of, I am an esteemed person with lots of wisdom and knowledge on various topics, when they're not actually that. They actually haven't done the homework. They haven't done the necessary work to actually be qualified in that sense. And the DMin, like David goes on to say, really, because it's called a doctorate degree, it does lower the level of standards among our clergy. It lowers the level of standards among others just in general. And it makes people settle for a standard that's lower than should be the case for Christians. We should be striving for something higher. And so what I tell you is, if you want further education after the MDiv, go get a THM. That's a very valuable and useful degree. That's what it's there for. The person who doesn't want to do a PhD, who's not ready to give up that much time and effort and sleep, to go get that. Now, the fact is, our PhDs have also been diluted in quality over time. And so it's not just the DMin that's creating the problem here in these contexts. It's also these large degree granting institutions that give a PhD to anyone who will pay for a PhD. And that's obviously not a good practice, not a good thing. It can be a good thing to allow more people to have access to higher scholarship. You don't want to just have just the elite people getting this education, but there's also a downside to letting everybody in who pays for it. But that's not really the point of this episode. The point was just to say the Doctor of Ministry is not a good degree in the sense of what it's claiming to be. If it claimed to be another master's degree, it would be a fine degree, a great degree, a master of practical theology. That seems like a very valuable and useful degree in the way that you can name it, and to be relevant and commensurate with the level of work that you're putting into it. It's just not a doctorate degree. You should not be qualified to be teaching courses when you have a DMin. You should not be qualified to be called a doctor when you have a DMin. You are not qualified in those ways. Do not call yourself doctor. Don't. I know that sounds mean, maybe. Maybe that sounds over the top. I don't know. Do you agree with me? Do you not agree with me? You tell me in the comments. Let me know right now. Yes, no, maybe so. Tell me what you think. Because I really do think the DMin, in large parts, like David says here in his essay, the DMin was created as a revenue generation mechanism. Seminaries need more money. How do we convince people to do another degree without having to jump over the giant PhD hurdle? everybody wants a doctorate. Everybody wants to be called doctor. So let's create sort of this middle thing that can still be a doctorate degree. We'll try to model it off these other professional degrees and call it a doctorate. The problem is it's not of that quality. And so we're lying to people, telling them that they really have doctorates when they really don't. Now, again, when you hear me say these things, I'm not saying the DMin is a useless degree. It is an overly inflated degree that can have the tendency to overinflate one's confidence and self-importance. That's the main issue that I'm trying to get at with saying it's not a doctorate degree, it's not a good degree. It's that. It's giving people false confidence. It's giving people false status symbols stuff that you don't have. And I'm not trying to be pretentious or elitist or whatever. I don't have a PhD yet when I'm doing this. So I don't feel like I have a dog in this fight. The DMin just isn't a quality degree. If you look at the coursework that's required, if you look at the quality of material produced at the end, it's just not as good. Look at the quality of the stuff you have at THM. I think it's higher and better, more appropriate. I'll stand for the THM every day, all the time. Great, fabulous degree. Go get one if you want further education anyway. So that's my hot take, I guess, on the DMin. It's not a very good degree. It should really not be listed in course catalogs. I think we should get rid of it and replace it with a master's degree that's more appropriate to the level of work and effort that you're putting in it. That's more honest, more transparent, and I think better for people's souls in the long run. And maybe it'll motivate them to, if they want to be called doctor, which is not a good motivation. You should not ever do a PhD so that you can be called doctor. You should check your heart, check your motives, and say, you know what? I don't need this because that is sinful. But let's say you did, then maybe that'll challenge you to go do the PhD and do the appropriate level of work so that you can be called. Okay, that's my take here. So tell me what you guys think. If you agree, disagree, let me know. I appreciate you guys tuning in to Kiffin Keep, and I look forward to thinking with you all soon.